My birthday. Exactly 16 years ago, I was born onto this earth to a loving mother. Exactly 16 years ago, I was born onto this earth to a loving mother named Susan and an amazing father named Alfred. Before I was even born, my parents had already decided my name. I was going to be named after my dad and my grandfather. I was going to be the fourth to carry my name, so I was named Alfred Samuel Alsop the Fourth. But my friends call me Sammy. When I was young, my dad and me got really close. We spent a lot of time together, playing video games and doing this thing we call the naked shirt party. Not sure if you could tell, but my 2-year-old brain thought of that genius idea and still he nags to me about it to this day. I had an older brother too. His name was Patrick. He was my half brother on my mom's side. I always idolized him, even though his flaws quickly. He was my half brother on my mom's side. I always idolized him, even through his flaws. I quickly adapted to his morals, such as to never hit women, a pretty basic one, and that family is everything. Whether it's blood or not, family is everything. Just 'cause you get mad at someone and don't talk to them anymore. Oh, for something stupid like that. As long as they didn't turn their back on you and fuck you over, they're still your family. I adopted these morals very quickly and kept to myself mostly. I didn't like to be open with most people and, talk to people at all because I felt like I was going to get angry, per usual. When I was 5, my mom and dad had another child. His name was John Joseph Alsop, and he's my little brother. And just like all little brothers, he's an ignorant little brat, but I love him anyway, because blood's blood. He's honestly my best friend. Till the end, I will love that brat. I vowed to myself that if anybody fucked with him, I'd put them to the edge of dying and just leave them there to suffer. Soon that vow adopted to everyone I called family. When I was about 6 years old, my parents got a divorce. It sucked, and it hit me hard, but I got used to it over time. I mean, it's not like I could fix it. My dad moved out because he was the one who didn't want to be with my mom anymore. He packed his shit and left. One day, he introduced me to his new girlfriend, which would become his wife a few years later. She had two sons that I got along with fine. We fought like actual brothers, and it made me feel at home. Now, let me just back this up real quick, back to when my dad left. I don't remember when it was, but I remember it was around this time my brother got arrested. It was for something bad, and he was going to be in there for a while. For the next 10 years or so, he was in and out of jail till he got out last January, I believe. He got into a lot of bad stuff and ended up overdosing. He died March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. That was Patrick, my older brother. It's not a made-up name either. He just, I don't want to say ironically because it's not really a joke, but it's a coincidence that he died on the same day of St. Patrick's Day. it really sucked when Pat left and went to jail, because me and him had become very close. And it sucks now even more. Every day I gotta wake up and think. Thinking's a lot. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort for anybody nowadays. We all just think. There's no doing, really. We never really do anything. None of us do. Can you honestly, truly say that you do something productive around this world? It's crazy to think about. Think. Back to the story. When my dad introduced us to his new girlfriend, we visited him every other weekend, me and my little brother. Not my older brother, because, as I said, he was on my mom's side. My dad ended up winning the custody battles of me and my brother, because my older brother, Patrick, had some stuff wrong in his head, and the judge didn't want us living with someone who was not mentally stable, even though he was out of the picture almost right after. But I'm not going to complain about it, because I did a lot of stuff that I would have never been able to do if that didn't happen. After he won the custody battle, we moved to this little town called Middleborough. It was this nice little town that where like everyone knows each other's names, where like you can walk down the street and like get a carton of eggs from someone. It was that type of town where everyone just knew each other. We were all just friends. And it's weird to think about, because, most towns don't have that. And that's really why I loved living in Middleborough. I mean, I made some of the greatest friends I've ever had there, because we're all just people, We're all just there. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. So we all had to either deal with each other or fight all the time. And most of us choose to be friends. It's crazy to think about. My dad and his wife were together for about 5 years. About towards the end of my 5th grade year, they got a divorce, which didn't really hit me hard. I just said whatever at that time. I was young, I didn't really care. Not like she was my mom. But just to explain to you how dumb I was back then, I'll tell you this little story that I think will make you chuckle. My dad, he told me to go get a Stop and Shop bag. And I don't know why, but he said that he said a Stop and Shop bag when he should have just said a plastic bag. But I was like, all right, whatever. And let me tell you this. In that house, I don't remember once ever going to Stop and Shop. So I went into the drawer where we kept our bags, and I literally ripped apart the entire drawer trying to find a Stop and Shop bag. A drawer full of bags trying to find a Stop and Shop bag. I come down there and I'm like, there's no Stop and Shop bags. And he said, really? And he comes up, he opens up the drawer and says, what are all these? And I say, Hannaford's bags. And I shit you not, I was not being a smartass. It's literally what I said and what I thought. I got grounded for like 2 weeks over it. So I passed elementary school and I went on to middle school. I felt like, I was the king of the world because I was in middle school now. I was a big kid now or something like that. I don't know. It's actually where I first decided that I was going to pick up YouTube. I think my mom, for the summer between my 5th grade year and my 6th grade year, got me an iPod Touch 4. And honestly, it made me the happiest kid on earth. At the time, I was watching YouTubers like PewDiePie and Tobuscus and Sky Does Minecraft and Ethos Lab and so many more. I was really into Minecraft back then. So I decided that I was going to make YouTube videos on my iPod Touch. I was going to make vlogs, just like Tobuscus. Made vlogs every day from the day that I started school in 6th grade to, I want to say, midway through 7th grade. Maybe midway through 6th grade. I don't remember which year it was. But I remember the vlogs were terrible quality. I also remember that the reason I got off my vlog schedule was because I met this kid named Ryan. Became really good friends. In fact, Ryan's one of the only reasons why I watch Jack's films to this day. I would have never been introduced to Jack's films' amazing content if it wasn't for Ryan. So, thanks, bud. But we became really good friends. I mean, we hung out a lot. We weren't on the same intellectual level. He was a lot higher than me. Like I said, I was a really dumb kid. I'm still pretty dumb, but not as dumb as I was. But we connected over comedy and, I guess our love for video games and all that. He had always had this interest in making YouTube videos, like making Let's Plays and stuff, and he wanted to make them really nice and edit them, which is where I learned my basic editing skills, like how to sync and how to clip, stuff like that. Like basic shit I learned back then when I was sleeping over Ryan's house for the night, and he was up at 2 a.m. in the morning editing a Let's Play we did. I remember making a thumbnail in MS Paint for it, and I got really happy. I remember making my channel banner in MS Paint and telling him that it looked amazing, and it was the trashiest thing, I swear, ever. Like, the worst thing to ever exist. What we did was we sat down at our lunch table one day, and we said, we're going to make gaming videos. This is what we're going to do. We're going to meet up, and we're going to make gaming videos. It took us about 6 months to get all the equipment to actually record on our console nicely. Like, we got a capture card. It was really cheap. It was like $50 or something. Like, it was really cheap for a capture card. We got the male and female wires. We got everything for it. It was dumb. Like, ugh. But we did it. We said we were going to do it, and we did it. And I remember the first video we ever recorded was Madden Football 2009. And you can still go and watch that on Ryan's channel to this day. If you, I think it was 2009. I don't remember. Maybe it was 10, 11, something like that. But if you go onto official Maxim Games to this day, you can see the first ever Let's Play I ever did. It was of Madden 09. My little brother was sitting in the background. Me and Ryan were sitting on the floor of my living room making gaming videos. It's weird to think back to that. To think that was still me. We ended up having a falling out. We got into an argument because I bought the capture card, so I thought because I bought the quote-unquote big thing in the entire equipment that I should have more time on it. Because he was keeping it at his house because he was recording with his cousin. And at this time, I didn't even have a computer that I could record with. So I have no idea why I even started this argument. We ended up having this falling out, and we stopped talking. He unfriended me off Facebook, and we haven't talked since. We might have said hi to each other in the hallway, but that's about it. But if you're watching, Ryan, hit me up, dude. I'd love to chill and go out for dinner or a movie or something, no homo. But you were a pretty chill guy. Bet you're still pretty chill. I don't know who even watches these videos anymore. It's literally just jumbled messes of my words on a fucking screen. But after me and Ryan stopped talking, I really had no one, so I went back with a few friends that I had made a while back. Anthony, different Ryan, and Logan. And we ate lunch together, and we hung out. There was also this kid named Joe, but we don't talk anymore. I don't even know what happened there, dude. Honestly, I have no story about that. We just stopped talking one day. I mean, if you ever watched my old vlog channel, I remember him being in a lot of my vlogs. His name was Hellraiser. I'm not sure if you can still find him on YouTube or not. Maybe he deleted that account. Hopefully. I mean, I deleted all my old videos. I wish I could get into Ryan's old account, delete those, but I can't. We recorded Halo on my account, and that's deleted. Gone forever, thank God. But around this time, this kid that I had been friends with in elementary school, named Jason, came back to the town. He moved away in elementary school and then came back, and we didn't really recognize each other until we started talking, being like, oh yeah, that's right, we used to hang out, blah blah blah. And I don't know, I ended up idolizing him, I guess, in a weird way. I wanted to be like him. When you're in middle school and you want to be super cool, you want to be one of the cool kids. That was kind of the frame of mind I had. we became really close. Like we are family still to this day. I mean, we don't talk anymore. We had a falling out, but we'll work it out one day. And we all decide that we want to. It'll happen, but probably not today, probably not tomorrow. Someday. But we were family, and I mean, even his mom called me her second son, and my dad called him his redheaded stepchild, and it was really cool. I mean, we could go and knock at each other's door, and you know, they'd answer, and if we just need to get away for a night or a few nights, they the other person would be there. It was really nice. Um, yeah, he lived down the street from me. We hung out a lot. I don't know what else there is to say on that. We somehow managed to get by 8th grade. Like, I don't even know how that happened. Like, we almost failed every single class, dude. We made it by, though. We made it by the fucking, uh, hairs on our ass. That's the phrase. Um, then we ended up being in high school. High school was totally different than middle school. Um, I felt like I was out of place, really. Jason had joined a clique instantly, but I didn't fit into it. So I just signed up for a class that I knew I'd do good in, which which was singing. I really liked to sing, and I knew that it's not like he could fail me in singing if I tried. Um, so I took it, and I met some of the nicest people I think I've ever met my entire life there. I met some people that I still talk to this day, even though I'm out of the town. Um, Around the beginning of that year, I was talking to my therapist, and he suggested that I go and get tested to see if I had bipolar. It ended up that I did, but it wasn't that big of a deal because they just hand me meds and say, "Hey, take these; it'll fix ya." I was like, "All right, dog, whatever." Um, but sometimes I stopped taking my meds so I could make videos. Some of my favorite videos that I've ever made off my meds. Uh, I think my favorite of all time actually would have to be this one video. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it, but Jock Butt Let's Play, episode 1. What ma? That's a good fucking video right there. That is quality content. I'll tell you right now, no person has ever done that before. That is fucking original and spicy. Fun times, dude. At this time, me and Jason were still hanging out, really, but not as much. But when we did hang out, we kind of added this new person named Travis. Jason hung out with him before, but I didn't really talk to him much. I still didn't really talk to him after he joined the quote-unquote clique. Around June of my freshman year, I think we started talking mid-May. We started talking mid-May. We started dating in early June. I started dating this girl that was my first ever quote unquote real relationship. It lasted for about 3 months on and off until we finally broke up. You guys probably remember that time that I talked about my quote unquote lovely girlfriend in the first ever commentary video I made. Well, that's her, and well, you learn from your mistakes, don't you? We all gotta have mistakes to learn. This is the facts of life, my dude. Me and Jason got into a fight after this, though. I ended up going into like this 9-month depression, but I wouldn't have if it wasn't for what happened next. I don't want to stir up old drama, but long story short, me and this girl broke up. Jason started dating the girl because I said he could, but I said it and I shouldn't have because it fucked me up. But I'm glad that they're happy now. And I'm glad that they're doing well. I really am. Because I'm glad Jason's happy. Because if Jason's happy, that makes me happy. Because Jason has had to deal with a lot of shit in his life. I think having this girl makes all that shit worth it. So I'm happy for him. And I'm not saying that in a very, like, oh yeah, I'm happy for him. I actually mean it. But me and Jason's friendship had been on and off at this point because I got mad at him at points and stupid shit like that. I recently started living with my mom. And the reason for that was because there was a thing that happened at my house. I want to say 9, like just under 9 months ago, it must have been, where my dad ended up getting arrested because we had a fist fight. Well, he was drunk. And that meant I had to go start living with my mom. Until quote unquote further notice, but now I'm in full custody of her. But all could be worse. I could be in a fucking foster home. So I'm really happy that I'm not. I think the only reason that I brought this up was because I remember these few times where I was mad at Jason, but I called him up. And I said, I remember when it happened, I called Jason up and I said, Jason, I need you to come here. I need to talk to you, Jason, please. I remember him coming and it was so late. My mom was waiting for me to get into the car and I told her to wait a fucking second because I needed to talk to him. I remember just seeing him and bursting into tears. Like, I knew what was about to happen. Like, I knew everything that was going to lead up to that. And he looked at me and he said, Sammy, it's going to be fine, kid. You got this, dude. I'm here for you through thick and thin. Remember that. We're family. And it's almost like my entire life went full circle for a second. Like, I looked at him, and it's like I was looking at my older brother. He had instilled all of these morals into me. He was and still is an older brother to me. I will forever think that. Even if he hates me, I'll think that forever. And I hope he knows that. After this, I became really depressed. More depressed than I think I've ever been in my entire life. To the point where I had actually thought out and planned suicide. I remember my last call for help was calling him. I remember talking to him for a while, crying on the phone and saying, I don't know what to do. Why do I want to do this? I really want to do this. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. And then him saying, if you can't help yourself for yourself, do it for me. Do it for Johnny. Do it for Patrick. Do it for your mom. Do it for your dad. Do it for everyone who loves you, Sammy. Stay strong for us. And that's what I do now. After that day, after what happened on March 17th, after all the shit that I've been through, that's what I do. I live every day for my friends and my family. I don't live it for myself. I can't live it for myself, because if I live it for myself, I'll be too caught up in my own shit. So I have to live every day just for them. Whether it's just being happy or doing something they need. I think the reason why I told you this, why I made this video in the first place, was because I realized how much can change in a year. In the matter of a year, I've went from snuggling on the couch with a girl and listening to music and thinking, if I ever lost this, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. To losing it. To losing myself mentally. To losing my best friend. To hitting rock bottom. To realize that everything I had worked for was for nothing. To realize that everyone would be there in the end. That there is no rock bottom when there's people to catch you. To being happy. To being actually happy for once with what my life has come out to be. So in the past 504,954,821 seconds of my life, I have realized that it's not about doing stuff, it's about being happy. And that was a summary of the last 8,415,913 minutes, or 140,265 hours, or 5,844 days, or 834 weeks, or 192 months, or 16 years, however the fuck you want to put it. That is a summary of that last 16 years of my life. And I'm happy that I went through it all. Thanks for listening.